And I said to myself, I can't stand this man. I can't stand this man. And I don't believe anything this man believes. Not a single thing.
God, it was so fitting in a way. Everything started when I was at a concert. Emotional Works for String Orchestra. I decided to go off and spend an evening on my own, and I sat there blissfully watching the musicians under the bright lights. They were playing wonderfully, leaning forward, so committed, their heels digging into the stage. And all of a sudden, the lights seemed to flicker for a moment. But the players went on playing. And then all at once, we were in total darkness. The audience made an odd little sound, like the hoarse sound of a broken bell, and started to run. I thought of a movie I'd seen of cows in a corral. Then a door opened at the back of the stage, and we could see through it onto the street. Behind the scurrying musicians holding their instruments to their chests, we saw flashes of light, and then, impossible, then we heard shots. Not one or two pops, but shooting like you'd hear on the evening news, a sound which, in spite of everything, we never really thought we'd hear live, so to speak. And so that was it. Everything started over from that moment. A few days, a month, and all of a sudden, 10,000 examples of human remains, as the newspapers put it. Human remains. Or was it 15,000? Had shown up in every sort of inappropriate spot, such as the carousel in the middle of the park. And at least that many people had been unceremoniously arrested by the police. There was a week when we went to 3 funerals of friends. 2 had been sitting quietly in restaurants. Someone had come in, had said, "Don't get up," then walked around behind them and shot a hole in the back of their heads, blood pouring out of them onto their plates. Well, it hadn't happened for a long time, but now it was happening once again. Those who were suffering had whimpered a little. They'd made themselves known, and so, of course, it was inevitable that the serious individuals who led our country would begin to respond. As in all such periods, you could never predict the form of the response, just its filthiness. Naturally, the economy flew out of control. No more pet food. We gave all our animals to friends who had farms, except that I insisted on keeping the cat. Father was offered the opportunity to write certain articles, in any one of which he could have placed a sentence or two which would have pleased our rulers and made our lives easier. But he wouldn't do it. Jack wanted me to leave, to go live with him and let poor father take care of himself. He kept saying for some reason that father was not some special human being, that father was no different from anyone else. Father enjoyed wearing nice-looking shirts, so in Jack's view, he was no different from someone like Martin, who happened to wear the same kind of shirt. Never mind that Martin would happily have slit his grandmother's throat to get the money to buy them, and Jack never stopped trying to get me to agree that Father's taste in music was actually quite vulgar. Well, maybe it was, but I didn't really see what Jack was trying to prove.
From then on, more and more frequently, I'd find that my mind had just slipped away from me, following some peculiar will of its own. One day she said to me something like, "I don't understand your relationship to society. I don't understand your relationship to the world you live in." "Can I tell you something?" I said to her snappily. "Do you know something? I don't understand my relationship to my own ass. I mean, I was standing naked in the bathroom this morning, and when I saw my ass in the mirror, I just said to myself, what is that? What is that? And what does it have to do with me?" The strange thing was that I was talking so much and saying things.
Jack!
What?
Jack!
For God's sake, will you stop bothering me? But I could perfectly well have said other things instead.
Jack, people cry at funerals.
Excuse me?
People cry at funerals.
I know that, Judy. I know that, you see. You stupid bitch. Look, I have tried to tell you about myself, about what I am like over the years. But your mind apparently has always been somewhere else, unfortunately. And now what are you saying? That I've let you down? I'm a disappointment? I paid you the respect of trying to tell you the fucking truth. And now you're blaming me because you didn't pay any fucking attention, you cold, unfeeling, inhuman bitch.
"Can't I be saved?" I cried out to him, falling on my face in the grass, hugging his legs. "No," he said, "love can't save you." "But what about the idea of a better world?" I said to him.
Well, I did take a bath this morning, if that's what you're asking. What are you asking?
I'm asking you, don't you remember how you felt when we went to visit that fucking orphanage?
Where was that, actually?
With the orange trees outside it, we saw the children, we touched them. Your shirt was soaked with the sweat of that sick little girl. I mean, what are you now? Do you see yourself now as just... what? As what?
I don't see myself as anything. Judy, you see, you're looking at me. This is me. This is me. And this is all there is to me.
Jack, please.
Tell me what you're telling me.
The orphanage, the infirmary, the orange trees, the girl, the medicine, the best.
Spare me all the talk, Judy. I'm not interested in talk. Don't you see what I'm saying? If you love me, well, make a sacrifice for me. Take a risk for me. Suffer for me. Otherwise, what are you talking about? You're talking about nothing. I have no interest in it. It means nothing to me.